humiliating yet startling thing if I just fired my hat at him. So I didn't tell anybody that.
There was an article that was purported to have been written by her in one of the magazines, one of the Star or whatever those terrible things are, in which she made certain assertions and accusations that none of us ever believed a word of it.
What secret did Ron Howard hide from everyone for decades that could have changed his entire career? Why did Hollywood's beloved director suddenly break his silence after years of staying quiet? And what controversial statement about politics has fans divided and critics calling him a coward? For decades, Ron Howard has been one of Hollywood's most respected figures, the child star who became an Oscar-winning director. He's the man behind classics like Apollo 13, A Beautiful Mind, and The Da Vinci Code. But recently, something changed. After years of choosing grace over gossip, Ron finally spoke out. And what he revealed has left people shocked and deeply divided. Born on March 1st, 1954 in Duncan, Oklahoma, Ron Howard had acting in his blood from day one. His father, Rance Howard, worked as a director, writer, and actor, while his mother, Jean Spiegel, was also an actress. According to the source material, his father was originally named Rance Beckenhalt, but changed his last name to Howard in 1948 to help his acting career. Even as a toddler, Ron was destined for the spotlight. His journey began in 1956 when he was just 2 years old. Credited as Ronnie Howard, he appeared in small TV roles on shows like Dennis the Menace and The Twilight Zone. Years later, a fan shared a clip from an episode called Walking Distance, and Howard confirmed it was him, saying he remembered the scene from when he was still 5 years old. But his big break came at age 6 when he landed the role of Opie Taylor in The Andy Griffith Show. The series debuted in 1960, and Ron quickly became one of television's most beloved child actors. However, behind the scenes, things weren't always easy. His younger brother, Clint, was also acting, and Ron admitted to the New York Times that he felt envy over what Clint was achieving, describing his brother as really popular at school, an excellent athlete, and confident, things that Ron said he didn't necessarily feel or exude. But here's where things get interesting. What did Ron Howard learn from his childhood fame that would later shape his entire directing career? In 1962, Ron took a big leap into movies, playing Winthrop Perrow in the film The Music Man. Decades later, he could still recite his childhood lines perfectly, complete with the adorable lisp he had as a child. He told IMDb Me that it took a lot of work to get a 6-year-old kid to remember lines like that, saying he must have gone over them about 1,000 times. As he grew older, the challenges intensified. Ron told the New York Times that the system is set up to make child performers feel like failures as they go through adolescence. When The Andy Griffith Show ended in 1968, he was left wondering what would come next, but he carried important lessons from Andy Griffith that would stay with him forever. He told the Los Angeles Times that Griffith taught him about comedic timing, paying off characters and storylines, and the value of both focused rehearsal and total chaotic spontaneity. In 1974, Ron Howard got another major break when he was cast as Richie Cunningham in Happy Days. But success came with a price. His co-star, Henry Winkler, who played the Fonz, started stealing the spotlight. In his memoir, The Boys, Howard recalled that he noticed the Fonz was getting more and more screen time. The stress took a physical toll. He started breaking out in eczema rashes all over his body, most acutely on his eyelids. His hair also began coming out in alarming clumps during this period. But wait, what beautiful thing happened during this stressful time that would change Ron's life forever? On November 1st, 1970, Ron went on his first date with Cheryl Alley. They watched a re-release of It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World and grabbed pizza afterward. 5 years later, they were married, with both Andy Griffith and Tom Bosley attending the ceremony. In 2020, Ron celebrated the 50th anniversary of their first date, posting that they'd be driving in the same 1970 VW Bug he picked Cheryl up in 5 decades ago, adding, "It runs great, so do we." By 1977, Ron was ready for something bigger than acting. He directed his first feature film, Grand Theft Auto, after producer Roger Corman told him to create a car crash comedy starring himself. According to the source, Ron wrote the outline in just 36 hours. The movie was a success and marked the beginning of a new career path. In 1981, Ron and Cheryl welcomed their first child, Bryce Dallas Howard, who would later become a star herself in films like Jurassic World. Growing up, Bryce was surrounded by movie magic and even appeared as an extra in Parenthood. She once admitted that when she would be grounded, they would ground her from the set because they knew she didn't want to risk that. But Hollywood wasn't quick to take Ron seriously as a director. Big stars like Chevy Chase and John Travolta refused to work with him because he was inexperienced. Things changed when Tom Hanks auditioned for Splash in 1982. Ron remembered Hanks from a guest appearance on Happy Days and decided to let him audition for the lead. The studio agreed. The movie became a huge success, and Hanks's career was launched. Ron's breakthrough continued with Backdraft in 1991, where he worked with 10 real Chicago firefighters and used real flames instead of computer effects. Even legendary actor Robert De Niro impressed him with his preparation, which Ron called a masterclass. Then came Apollo 13 in 1995. But here's something shocking. Did you know one test audience member actually gave the movie a terrible review? In 2001, Ron directed A Beautiful Mind, starring Russell Crowe, which won him his first Oscar for Best Director and also took home Best Picture. His friend Tom Hanks presented the award, making the moment even more meaningful. Fast forward to 2018, and Ron took on one of his toughest challenges yet. He was chosen to direct Solo, a Star Wars story, after the original directors were fired. The pressure was enormous. Despite his experience, Ron had to finish a movie that was already half completed and win back fans who were losing faith. Unfortunately, the movie made only $176 million in the US, less than half of what Rogue One had earned. When fans asked him on Twitter if the backlash hurt the film, Ron responded honestly, "I'm proud of Solo." And the cast and crew worked hard to give fans a fun new addition. As a director, I feel badly when people who I believe will enjoy a movie don't see it on a big screen. But the biggest controversy was yet to come. So what did Ron Howard finally say that has everyone so divided? For Ron, it wasn't about taking sides. He's always seen himself as a filmmaker, not a politician. But in today's world, even silence can be taken as a statement. Throughout his decades-long career, from facing harsh reviews to political criticism, Ron Howard has remained calm, respectful, and grounded, never losing sight of what truly matters to him, telling stories.